Have you ever wondered how brands that you admire all of a sudden launch a business and get this massive exposure and they're selling in an omni-channel space? Well, today you are in for a treat because this interview is the first in a 3-part series designed to show you how fine jewelers are selling and reaching their customers online. So regardless of the type of jewelry you sell, you are going to definitely want to tune in because there are many little tidbits that you are going to be able to kind of grab from our guests over the next 3 weeks episode. Hey there, I'm Tracy Matthews. I'm the Chief Visionary Officer of Flourish and Thrive Academy. I'm also the host of the Thrive by Design podcast, and I'm thrilled to have a very special guest on the show today, Oren Katz of Carbon and Hide. Oren Katz is a part of a 2-part duo. Her and her sister Yarden Katz come from a family-owned business, and they launched Carbon and Hide many years ago as a direct-to-consumer brand. You're going to learn how they use offline methods to really build their online sales, and I'm really excited for you to kind of get a glimpse into how some of the best designers in today's market are actually doing it in the jewelry industry. So if you're ready to stand out, let's do this. I'm going to dive right into today's episode. I'm really excited to be here with Oren Katz of Carbon and Hide. Welcome, Oren.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for being here. I met you originally at the Jewelry Independent Summit, I think like a year ago almost now. And I was moderating a panel that you were on, and we were in this room. And I love what you had to say about how Carbon and Hide is selling fine jewelry online. And you guys are doing such a good job at it. That I had to have you on this on the show and just talk a little bit more about your experience. So thanks for being here. Like, how'd you guys get started? Tell me.
So I would say it definitely kind of all stemmed from my parents. My grandfather has been in the business forever. He was a diamond dealer in Israel. And my father, when he was growing up, worked under him and kind of started cutting diamonds, setting diamonds, learning how to really be a jeweler. So when he was in his 20s, he moved to LA and he opened up his own manufacturing house. So, we kind of grew up in that business, and my mom, being a fashion designer, was always interested in designing pieces with my dad. And we would always wear them as kids, and people used to always come up to us and say, "Oh my God, I love what you're wearing. How can I get one? Where did you design this?" And, they were fascinated knowing that we had designed it, within our family ourselves. So I would say when we were kind of in New York, both my sister and I, after college, we both worked in fashion companies, and over time we kind of always wanted to be in the family business and do something in jewelry. And after 3 years of kind of learning the ins and outs of the fashion world and sort of how it works, we both decided to start our own company together. We moved back to LA and we kind of started designing our own line. My mom was a huge influence in helping us design pieces, and we would constantly look at her old, antique jewelry and relics and kind of come up with concepts and look through small little ideas and things in vintage jewelry. And that's how we came up with a lot of inspirations for our line. So I would say, building it has really stemmed from our family.
How is like the fashion world influence like how you're designing now? Because I would say, like, just looking at your collection, it is like really like wearable fine jewelry. It's like stuff you'd wear every day. It's slightly edgy, and it's got a really cool vibe. So how has fashion really influenced that?
Yeah, I think there's definitely been a shift in the past, and in the way that we started. We used to make just collections. We would make maybe a 12 to 15 piece collection, and that would be, it's like a signature own thing. And now with keeping up with trends and keeping up with the way people are buying jewelry online, and they always want to see something new. And even looking at bloggers every day, they're posting a new outfit and a new piece of jewelry. So you kind of have to keep up with that. So I would say we stopped doing collections in terms of, every once a month and, twice a month, focusing on instead doing trendy pieces. So I think in the past, people used to come out with a collection once a year or twice a year, and now it's every month. So we we kind of continue on with what's trending. And if chokers are in, we're going to focus on chokers. If everyone's wearing Huggies, we're going to focus on that. If everyone's wearing hoops, gold hoops, we're going to focus on that trend. Pinky rings. So anything that kind of comes up, I think the beauty of being having your own manufacturing house like we do is being able to come up with trends very quickly. So our design process is more, design on the fly.
Okay, awesome. So my next question is really about how you sell your jewelry, because you mentioned consignment earlier, and I'm assuming you're doing wholesale too. And I just know this because I've already spoke to you. You also sell online. So tell me a little bit about how you've selected your sales channels, if there was any other sales channels, and why did you decide to kind of build an omni-channel brand?
Yeah, well, in the beginning, we definitely did just want to do a website and just sell it direct to consumer and not be in any stores, and kind of, build a brand that way that was really just consumer friendly and all about, going direct. And once
Why was that? I'm curious. Why was that?
It was about 5 years ago. So I think that idea is great for people coming out with jewelry brands now, because more and more people are shopping online. But I think when we started, it was maybe a little too early. And we, of course, first focused on ourselves. We built our own website. We designed all the product. We made our own look. And we focused solely on us. And then I think, the biggest sort of hindrance was getting new customers to touch and feel our products. So to do that, we kind of decided we need to be in retail stores, and we need to have these retail partners so that people can still see the product first in real life. Mm-hmm. And once they, build an understanding of our product and the quality and how the price point really reflects, something that's a worth it deal, then they'll trust us online. Yeah. So we decided to go into retail stores, and we were pretty picky in the beginning, but I think, we found a good set of stores that really represented us and the product. And we kind of decided to go into a variety of selling channels aside from just being on our own website and in retail stores. We work with our own retailers, and they have their own websites. So they're also promoting us online. And I think Instagram is an amazing tool and another place to sell. We've done a lot of trunk shows, so doing personal appearances and, selling live and being with the customers. And we also have started to do piercing parties too. So I think kind of just getting out there and finding any possible way to connect with your client aside from just being online is a really important tool in terms of building a good customer base.
Okay, that's cool. That's awesome. I love it. So tell us a little bit about your digital strategy, because you're working on the front end, right? You're doing all the creative for the front end. We've reposted so many of your pictures. You take really beautiful photography, and I think it is so helpful. And I'm always like, wow, you really get the vibe of like what Carbon and Hide is all about when you look at your Instagram.
Yes.
So how are you using, I have a couple of questions in this. How are you using like those piercing parties and those in-person events to kind of leverage and get people to buy from you later on your website? Do you have any like special techniques to get them to sign up for your email list, or do you sign them up at the parties, or how does it work?
Yeah, well, we work with a social media team that we love. They're girls kind of just like us. So I think that that's important in building a brand, is finding people that you can partner with that are working on your account that you really resonate with. So I think they understand our style and understand our look and how we want everything. And, in the beginning, obviously the first year working with them, I was very hands-on so that they could understand my style and vibe. And now I think that they do a really good job of seeing it out. But of course, Instagram is a hefty job. And I, for the first year, was doing it myself and kind of realized I have zero time to work because I'm just spending all my time on Instagram all day long. So you do need that extra support. And I think, getting those photos out there is what really kind of puts your face on the map for people. And, we did promote on Instagram, and we we asked people to send us their email or just sign up through Instagram if they wanted to come. So we did open it up to everyone. We have an email list of people who are customers from our website, friends of ours, friends of friends, kind of just getting everyone to get involved and send it out to their friends was the way we did it. And I think in terms of making sales, like we did see a lot of sales that came even after the piercing party, because I think you do get a lot of hype from it, and having our social media team there, taking photos, showing everyone what's going on, showing everyone else's style and what they decided to pick and how they, styled their own earrings, I think really inspired people. So I think that's, a beautiful thing when you can not only do something and have people have fun at the party, but inspire people out there in the world that, maybe don't live in LA and weren't able to make it, but can still browse on your site right after and get the same look.
I love that, because you're using your in-person events to leverage online in so many different ways. You're using it for content, basically, because you have like someone photographing and people showing their looks. Plus, it makes your customers who bought feel special. Like, oh, I'm going to be on the, Carbon brand. And then you have content for a long time and ways to kind of promote it again. Like if you were to do another piercing party, I'm sure you'd pull those up.
Absolutely.
And use them again.
Absolutely. And I think it was really fun for everyone who was involved, because they were posting, and for us that's even more content because we get to repost everything they're a part of, which is really it's fun for everyone.
Yeah, that's awesome. So quick question, when you're thinking about selling fine jewelry online, what do you think that if the one thing that kind of moved the needle and helped kind of push you forward to get more exposure and sales? Do you think it was the stores, or was it your Instagram, or was it something else?
I think it's definitely a mix of stores and Instagram. I think that, purchasing jewelry is such a personal thing that you do need to see it in person sometimes. There are clients that need to only purchase it live. And then there are other clients that are like, okay, I'm going to test it out regardless. I can send it back. And I think building that trust in terms of having a good return policy and making it easy for clients. And, a lot of people will email us and say, oh, well, if you're sending it, how do I know it's going to be insured? And, I think we just make it very clear that anything that we send out is going to be sent via trackable mail. It's going to be insured. It's going to be a signature delivery, and you're allowed to return it. So I think with all of that, there's nothing you're going to lose. You're never going to get to a position where a package never showed up and you're out all this money. So people feel really comfortable purchasing with us. I think the other people who need to see it in stores will constantly, email us or live chat us and say, where can I find this piece and see it in person? And I think once they see the pieces in person, they have a general understanding of the quality of our brand. So I think building trust is, really important, in a live format, and also online, just communicating to people that this is insured, this is safe, and we're here to take care of you. So your money is safe.
I love it. You have the cutest live chat bot on your website. It says doesn't it say hey babe or something like that? What can I help you with?
Yeah, we love it. Personal and open to anyone who I think jewelry is such a personal thing. So a lot of people are very emotional with it. And when they see something, they want it right now. People either think about it or they're like, oh my God, I need these Huggies immediately. And they want to email you and ask you these questions. So I think being there and being live is so important, especially with jewelry, because it does have that emotional factor and people want an answer right away. And a lot of people just love emailing us for, questions on suggesting a metal color or suggesting what ring size works for them. So being there to really support them in the purchase process, I think is important.
I think that's the most important part, for people selling fine jewelry, because I think that there is this belief that you can't sell fine jewelry online for people who are not doing it, because they're not doing it very well, because they don't have the touch points. Most people aren't just going to blindly put a $5,000 piece of jewelry in a shopping cart and check out without talking to someone. And so I think the fact that you have all these touch points where people can, see what your like return policy is, and you're there, they feel like assured and there's a trust built that they can talk to you, becomes really powerful. And I when I was on your site the other day, I loved your bot. I was like laughing so hard. Hey babe, how can we help you? And it kept popping up. So cute. So I want to ask you, like, what's working and what's not working? Like, what have you tried that like epically failed and you're like, this isn't working for my business? And what have you tried and like tested and like tweaked it to get it to work? And what worked immediately to get traffic to your website?
Yeah. I think, what didn't work is kind of what I went over in the beginning, saying that when we started the business, we wanted to just be online, but it's really hard to get those views on you unless you get that stamp of approval from stores. Mm-hmm. So I would say unless you're a super genius marketer, online SEO, I've tried to be in that, and I think that stuff does work. We just haven't really delved into how to get it done properly. So I think that's the hardest part, keeping up with that internet landscape. So we use stores as a way to buffer that, when we couldn't figure out how are we going to get this like SEO all over the place to reach eyes that we would never get otherwise. Yeah. So that sort of didn't work for us. We decided to buffer that by going into stores, and we just picked the stores that we thought sell this product, where everything that we design is really stuff that myself or Yarden or our friends would wear. So we kind of looked at where are the stores that we would shop in. I'm not going to say yes to every single person that wants my jewelry, but I'm instead going to go to the top tier people first that I think it would work for. And I think once you like align yourself with someone that is a good fit, it's likely going to be a success. So if you just say yes to everyone, maybe you'll get one order to that store, but if you don't feel like it's the perfect connection, then they're not going to keep selling.
Exactly.
That didn't work for us. I think what did work for us was going on Instagram from day one. And I think that helped get so many people to follow our brand and look at our new jewelry and have their friends follow us, because once you're on there, it's just your network expands so quickly. One person sees a ring and they send it to their friend, in Instagram and say, hey, do you like this? Or should I buy this? What do you think? And next thing you know, that person is following us back. So I would say Instagram has definitely been the most powerful and dynamic tool for us.
Do you have a strategy beyond that to grow your following and to get more exposure? Is there anything that you guys are doing or your social media team is doing?
I think just keeping up with Instagram in general, posting every day just to stay relevant, being really responsive when people chat with us on Instagram. I think in the future we do want to get into, doing more videos and, getting a little more personal on Instagram, and there's always room for growth. But I think just keeping at it is the best thing you can do. I'm not really a big fan of, buying followers or, there are ways to get fake followers and fake comments and all that stuff. And I just don't think that's organic, because with our product, it's such a niche that unless, I'd rather have 2,000 good followers than 200,000 fake followers, because those 2,000 followers are, who your target is. And that's who's going to be responding to you, and that's who's going to shop your stuff. So
exactly, it's about like getting the people who want to be there, like creating that community. And you've spoken about friends and family so many times that I'm going to keep bringing this up, because I think there is a misconception about the power of the referrals that you get from a family network, and even beyond like the family network to a friends network, or just your overall network in general. I think that there's like almost like people just want to magically like put their site up and expect people to come, but it really does take being like slightly strategic and leveraging like what you have already to kind of get people there.
Oh, for sure. And I think, definitely with your friends, like treating them in the best possible way when they wear their stuff and making them feel comfortable buying it, and sharing things with them and showing them your new stuff all the time. Like that's what really gets amazing sales, because within my circle of friends, I know I'm busy all year round because someone has a birthday every other day, and everyone reaches out to me. I'm like the jewelry designer of the crew, and like everyone's passing along what their next piece is. And every time there's a girl's birthday, you know, all the girls are splitting one gift for them, and it's really nice and kind of makes my day to be able to bring what I do into my personal life as well.
And all your friends are like, you know, when they're out with people, oh, it's carbon and hide, carbon and hide.
Yeah.
Like at a party, everyone's like wearing carbon and hide, so that's great.
Yeah, your friends are going to be definitely your best advertisement. So find a way to always hook them up.
That's so cool. Oh, I had another question in there. Do you run ever any ads, like any Facebook ads or retargeting ads or any Instagram ads at all?
We've done like some testing with it. It's very hard to track. So yeah. I think it's something we're going to continue to keep testing. But we had done, you know, ads online. We've done Facebook ads. We've done Instagram ads before. I don't love Instagram ads because I think it takes away from the sort of personal nature of the brand. When you're constantly seeing an ad that's paid for, you know that it's not coming up on your feed because it's organic. And I think people sometimes have a negative connotation of that, like, oh, maybe they're not doing well, so they have to advertise overly on Instagram. I think there are other ways to advertise, maybe instead of paying for that, you know, Instagram feed, to maybe gift a blogger, or do an organic advertisement where you find a new partner and have someone else, you know, get involved in the brand with you.
Have you noticed the Instagram algorithm changes? Have they affected any of your reach or anything that you're doing right now?
I don't think it has. I think the only thing that's changed is that we started posting a little bit more on story instead of on feed, because the feed kind of comes at random spurts to different people. It's not really just like that instant thing. So I think we've narrowed down, instead of posting 2 to 3 times a day, we'll do maybe once a day. Maybe on Wednesdays, you know, we've done the analytics and we notice maybe Wednesdays there's barely any engagement, so let's not post on Wednesday. Or Saturday, most people are out and they're busy and they're hanging out with friends, so people don't really look at feed, so let's only post on story on Saturdays. You kind of do that. I think looking at Instagram analytics and Google analytics is a very powerful tool. In terms of, if you're going to use ads and if you're going to post, you might as well get the data and see how it's affecting your business. I think Google Analytics is also an amazing tool for your website. Again, it's hard to say what drove people to your website. Sometimes it'll say they came from Instagram, or, you know, but you could never know if someone saw a press article and then went on a separate tab and went on your website. So sometimes, you know, it won't show that that's the reason why they came unless they click a direct link. But I still think, so it's not 1,000% accurate, but I think you can get a lot of information from it.
Yeah, tracking links are key. Do you do any affiliates with, like affiliate partnerships with bloggers or influencers or anything like that?
We have in the past. For us, it's a very kind of tough business doing that because our product is so expensive. You know, if I had a t-shirt company, I would 100% send a t-shirt to every blogger that I know all the time. But I think with fine jewelry, it's very personal and it's a harder thing to gift when it's so expensive. Most of my stuff, you know, is $1,000 and up. So I think when we have done it, it's because maybe I gave it to a stylist and she put it on a celebrity and the celebrity loves it. So I'll say, you know what, this could be really worth it because she loves it so much, and that means she's going to wear it, and she has worn it already, and I've gotten photos of her wearing it because she's been styled in it. So I'm going to gift it to her and create a good partnership with her. So I think when you're in that kind of a moment, yes, it makes sense and it's worth it. Blindly sending it to people, personally, I don't think it makes sense. Sometimes you'll get something good out of it. Sometimes they won't post at all. So I think you have to be strategic with it and find people that would wear it, that love it, that are asking you for it. And that's when you know you'll get a good feedback and successful post from it.
100%. So I wanted to just talk a little bit about something. So you mentioned like about ads, how they're hard to track. And this kind of brings me into, because I think ads can work really well, but there's a known in the industry that it takes sometimes up to 90 days for any of the advertising to really convert, or like for you to make an ROI on your ad spend, depending on how you're running the ads. It takes people a lot longer to buy fine jewelry, especially online, because they want to think about it. Like, how are you continuing to have conversations and nurture relationships with people in the in-between time as they're like processing or thinking about it? Is there anything special that you're doing?
I think just Instagram has been the biggest help in terms of showing people the live jewelry. People really trust when, they can see it on your hand and see a video of it, versus in the past where it was just, let me go on the website, look at it and leave. But, it's hard to get inside people's heads. Like, I don't always know when someone's thinking about it and how to target that person exactly. That's what's hard. And I wish that could be something someone invents. I would definitely.
Pretty soon we'll all have chips in our heads after. But they're talking about to their Alexa about to their Echo about Amazon Echo thing about carbon and hide, and all of a sudden you get a notification.
Chips and I'll get notifications of what you're looking at, and then I'm going to target you. But I think most people actually do use that live chat feature a lot. So when they're in that interim process. So what we do is, respond to them, give them all the information we possibly can about the product, send them extra photos of the piece that they're looking for. If they have any questions or want to see it, on a hand, on another hand, just any question they have in that process, getting them through it, following up with them after you have the live chat. If they're like, okay, let me think about it and I'll get back to you, following up with them in 2 or 3 days, and just staying on top of all the inquiries is what I've seen helps, because there have been times where someone will email us asking a question, and if we lose an email or two and we have too many emails and we respond a little too late, you could have lost interest. But once we're on it really quickly and we're like, hey, yes, we can do this and we can create it for you, and I suggest this metal color and let me send you other photos of what it looks like, really like engaging with the person head on and keeping them engaged, I think is what's important, and not letting too much time in between the email pass.
And I'm sure that like with all these things that you're doing, all these touch points, and the fact that you're willing to email on a Saturday night at 7, it creates this really human connection. So it builds confidence so that the next time that you're sending out an email, like they don't, an email like marketing your products, it's probably much easier to make a sale. I mean, I'll let you answer that. It's sort of like a question and a statement at the same time, but have you found that to be the case, that once they buy once, it's easier to get them to buy again?
Yeah, I think the people that buy once, they're always, part of our mailing team. So, every time there's a new product or a sale going on, which hardly ever happens, but sometimes, if it's a holiday or something, we'll definitely be sure to let everyone know. And I think those people do end up coming back because now they're like part of our family and they see everything that's going on with the company. And I think just getting in front of their face all the time helps. Like, they may not be in the market of buying something else if they just bought something, but a week later, if they keep seeing the product, eventually. So I think just, being in front at the forefront is something that's really helpful. And I think in terms of, communicating, like you were talking about with the customer, I think you just have to know your client and who you're working with. If it's a guy, sometimes they're really simple. So you're like, okay, I'm going to answer his questions, and they're probably shopping for a girlfriend. So they just need the straight up answers, and maybe they don't need that extra push because they don't want to be pushed. They just want your advice of, would you like this or this as a girl? And do you think she's this size or that size? And, I know how guys work in their behavior at this point. Sometimes if they're asking for a ring and they tell me that the women's size is a size 5 because that was her engagement ring, a lot of times they'll be like, okay, so I'll buy the ring in a size 5. And I'm like, no, your engagement ring is the smallest finger on both of your hands. So she's probably, if she's going to wear it on the other side, going to be X size. So I'll normally ask, what finger do you want to wear it on? And give them that level of, figure it out exactly what she needs so I feel confident and comfortable buying this piece, because I know I'm not just, coming up with something out of my own head. So I think, that kind of support that's a little more technical, where in terms of women, when they come, they could get a little lost in terms of what metal color should I wear? Do you think rose or do you think yellow? And, in that case, kind of try to ask them a few more questions to see what other jewelry do you normally wear? Is the rest of your jewelry yellow gold? Maybe keep it the same unless you like mixing metals all the time. So I kind of give them different kinds of support, and I think knowing your customer, what they need and how to approach it, you kind of have to switch gears all the time.
Do you keep the jewelry in stock, or do you make it to order since the shop's right there?
Yeah, so with bestsellers, we do keep stock. I think we sell rose and yellow gold the best, so I don't have a lot of stock of white gold. White gold is more of a special order metal color, but most of the bestsellers that are one size fits all, necklaces, earrings, stuff that we keep in stores all the time, those are things that we do keep stock of. But we try to have a no inventory policy, because that's the best possible way to run your business. There's no reason why we need to hold so much inventory, because we can design and produce so quickly in our own shop. And I think it's just, it creates so much overhead that you don't need. So with rings, there are so many options. There's yellow gold, rose gold, white gold. There's 17 different sizes. So I think, just waiting for the order, but making sure that you can produce it on a rush within 3 days and ship it out to your client works for us. With other people, who are maybe, I think, you should have inventory, because no customer likes to wait. Even customers that order stuff on my website, sometimes we'll get an immediate email being like, hi, is this shipping today? Because the speed that people want stuff these days is just, you have to be immediate. So some things that we know sell quite often online we'll keep stock. Other things like rings that we can't determine what size and what color they're going to order, we save those for the special order, and we'll make that in the shop. And I know not everyone has their own family shop and family warehouse, but I think leveraging what you do have and working with the tools in your shed is really important. If you want to do jewelry, maybe finding a friend who has family in jewelry, or, just pulling all the tools out of the shed and saying, what can I do and what is feasible for me? When we started, I remember, I had some people saying, you can't do fine jewelry. That's crazy. Like, I can't even afford stuff that's $2,000. How are other people going to buy it? And, we were really scared, because some of my jewelry, is expensive, and maybe not necessarily something I would just walk in and spend $5,000 buying, easy breezy. And I think there's a niche for everything. And when we started and we were scared of that and scared of the price point, we looked into doing costume jewelry and this is not what I love, and this is not what I have available to me. So I'm going to make what I love and what I would wear, and take the risk. And it may be expensive, and it may not be for everyone, but there is something for everyone in this world. It's so big, and I think doing what you love is most important, and putting that first versus just trying to sell what you think people want. I think if you love it and you're good at it, that's what's going to help you succeed. So
yeah, and you made such a high quality product from the get-go. It's so easy, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it was a big challenge and a big investment for us. But, in the beginning, we started small and we said, okay, let's cap this off at $2,000 a price point. And everything we made was very price conscious. And, here and there, when we decided to dabble in making something a little more expensive because we thought the style was really cool and the look of it was beautiful, we ended up selling more of those pieces than the pieces that we were afraid and thought, let's only do this price point because that's what people want to spend. That's not necessarily true. We weren't selling those pieces that were more affordable. We were selling pieces that were more unique, more designer heavy, and more expensive. So I think just finding what works for you and running with it.
I love it. Oren, thank you so much for being here today. This was awesome. Where can everyone find you?
Everyone can find us online at www.carbonandhyde.com, on Instagram at carbonandhyde. Hyde is HYDE. Or you guys can live chat us and email us through our website too.
I love it. Thank you so much for being here. This has been awesome.
Thank you for your time. It was so fun.
Thank you so much for watching today's episode. Wasn't that awesome? I know I learned so much from Oren and hearing from her and her sister Yarden about how they're running Harbin and Hyde. I'm sure you did too. And before we go, I just wanted to ask you a question. Are you feeling super overwhelmed with your jewelry business right now? Like you've gotten to this point, you've built a certain level of success, but you're having difficulty really breaking through your profit plateau. If you're an ambitious designer who's trying to scale your sales to multiple 6 and or 7 figures, and you want to use the power of omnipresence and direct-to-consumer sales, I'd love to invite you to a very special opportunity to apply for a free SOS exploration call. SOS is our signature coaching program over here at Flourish and Thrive Academy, and it's designed to help you break through your profit plateau so you're reaching your financial, lifestyle, and business goals. On that call, we're going to walk you through your 3-year vision. We're going to talk a little bit about where your business is now. We're going to uncover some of the roadblocks that might be preventing you from reaching your goals. And if it sounds like a good fit, we're going to share with you a little bit more about how we can help you in our SOS coaching program. So if you'd like to apply, head on over to flourishthriveacademy.com/SOS now and jump on the phone with our Business Accelerator Specialist right now. Thanks so much for watching today. This is Tracy Matthews, signing off.